Great.
Oh, here we go.
That was the longest piss I've ever taken.
Thank you for sharing that.
What is up, everybody? My name is Kai, and welcome to my first official movie review on this channel. The whole reason I made this channel was to review movies, but it just ended up becoming something I posted a bunch of crap on, as you can probably see on my channel. But moving forward, I'm doing movie reviews mainly, and I thought, what better movies to start out with than the Terrifier franchise? As you can see, I have the Terrifier shirt on. I love this shirt so much. I think I got this from Terror Threads. And I also have the DVD right here that I got on Amazon for, I want to say, about $8 or so. I don't know, I'll pop it up somewhere. But it was pretty cheap, so. Terrifier is a slasher movie directed by Damien Leone in 2016. This movie had a budget of $35,000. I believe it was a film school that helped film it. Again, I'm probably wrong on that, don't fact check me, but I heard that somewhere. And honestly, when I first watched this with my dad, he was surprised when I told him that, because you can't really tell that it's a low-budget movie. I mean, $35 is like a lot. To me, if I had that, I'm set for life, bitch. But for a movie, $35,000 is not a lot of money to work with, especially because you have to pay actors, you have to pay for effects, you have to pay for like filming in certain locations, props and stuff. You just gotta pay for cameras and stuff. You have to pay people again. It's a lot. And honestly, the low budget is kind of one of the reasons I really enjoy this film. Now, that might not make a lot of sense, but I enjoy seeing what people can do with a very low amount of money. And what Damien Leone did for this movie, with the amount of money they had, is crazy. And including the actors, everyone involved did an amazing job. Which leads me into Art the Clown, the poster child of Terrifier. When this movie came out, people were just so ready to name Art the Clown as the next, Jason Voorhees, the next Freddy, Michael, Leatherface, as like the Mount Rushmore of horror slasher icons. And I was one of them, baby, and I still am. Especially after Terrifier 2 came out, but we're not talking about that right now. Right now we're talking about the first one. Art the Clown is played by David Howard Thornton, which I believe was an actual, or may still be an actual mime. Again, I'll fact check that when I'm editing this, but I'm pretty sure that's true. And the reason I believe that so much is because when you watch him, he does such a good job. He's not only creepy, he literally is a really good mime character. You get these scenes with him when you first see him walking. You see his feet. He's carrying the trash bag over his shoulder, and he's staring at the girls from across the street. Like, that's freaky stuff, and it sticks in your head when you see it for the first time. At least for me. But it's also very cool. And probably the best scene in this movie, at least my personal favorite, is when the characters Tara and Dawn, I'm pretty sure those are their names, they're sitting in a pizza shop, and Art kind of just comes in and just sits across the way from them and just stares down Tara. It's a scene that every time I see it, it's like I'm seeing it for the first time. Even though I know what's happening after, it still always gets a reaction out of me. Just every face that Art makes can be like a screenshot for anything. It can be in a thumbnail for a video, like the one in this video. Everything he does is iconic, which is why I put him among the top of the rankings among like horror icons like Freddy, Michael, Jason, Leatherface, Pinhead, you know what I'm saying? And Art really is a special character because he doesn't talk, and I know a lot of people are gonna say, oh well, Jason doesn't talk, Michael doesn't talk, Leatherface doesn't talk. Okay, yeah, that is true, but you also can't see Michael and Jason's face. So you don't really get a lot of expression out of them besides they want to fuck someone up. With Art, it's all about the mannerisms and the facial expressions that really tell the story of how pissed this guy is, how like angry he is, how violent he is. God, how violent he can be, Jesus Christ. Which brings me to my next point. This movie it's so, even on rewatch, it's so like stressful to watch because you know what's coming. You know that Art can just fuck up these victims, so they might not be the most interesting victims in the world, but you don't want to see him get mutilated by Art the fucking Clown, so you kind of care for them in that way, and you kind of want to see him survive, but at the same time, you want to see what creative ways Art the Clown can fuck someone up, which sounds terrible, and to most normal people who don't like these movies, sounds crazy, which is why people think people like me are crazy. But anyway, basically to sum Art the Clown up, he is the reason people go to see this movie. He's the reason I watch it. He's the reason, you know, he is the main reason this movie is popular. It's all because of Art the fucking Clown, baby. But what other characters are in this movie? It's kind of hard to remember, but I do remember them because I have notes written down right here on my phone. You essentially get this movie, of course, because of the low budget, it takes place in like 2, maybe 3 locations, in a warehouse and a pizza shop. You get these 2 girls who are dressed up in Halloween costumes. They just come from a Halloween party, and they go to this pizza shop to get something to eat because their car, someone slashed their tires, which was Art the Clown. And you don't really get a reason why Art the Clown is hunting these 2 girls, besides, I mean, I guess you could say it's because they fucked with him when he was crossing the street, because, you know, he just was kind of walking around in the middle of this town or city, whatever it is, and he just happened, it's the first people he saw, so that's why he's hunting them, which honestly is the only explanation I need. So if you're here for like a narrative and character development and a reason for stuff happening, you're not getting that shit with this movie. None at all. But to me, I feel like that works in its favor because it's not a very long movie. It's only about... It's 84 minutes, so literally not even an hour and a half. And I think it's a very well-paced movie, you know, you get scene after scene where every scene is like something to remember, even the intro, like, which I forgot to talk about, which involves the talk show host talking to this victim, the first victim of Art the Clown, or maybe the first victim, we're not too sure yet. But she's being interviewed, and the interview goes well, but then after, the talk show host is like caught by her in the back talking shit about her, and then she just fucks her up. She like pokes her eyes in, like scratches and tears her face apart. It's pretty gnarly stuff, which all the kills in this movie are pretty gnarly, especially that one. Oh boy. Of course, I'm talking about the kill that this movie is most likely known for, and that's the one involving Dawn, Tara's friend, the blonde one, getting sawed in half from her area all the way down to her face because she's being hung up. Like, I can't show it. I don't even know if I can describe it on YouTube without being demonetized, but yeah, so that sounds bad to you, don't watch this movie. But there's not really much, like, to talk about with this movie. It's mostly just a collection of Art the Clown scenes and scenes of him killing people, which, if you're here for that, then it's going to be one of your favorite movies. It's one of my favorite movies because of that. But even I can say that it's not the most, like, thrilling experience. It's just a very entertaining, gory mess of a movie. I've heard a lot of people say this. This is kind of like a proof of concept for Art the Clown, because Terrifier 2 seems more like a Terrifier 1 than Terrifier 1 seems like a Terrifier 1, if that makes sense. This kind of seems like a pilot episode of like a new series coming on Netflix, you know? And I think it works as that. So if you're gonna watch Terrifier 2, I do recommend watching Terrifier 1, because it will prepare you at least a little bit for what you see in Terrifier 2. And hopefully Terrifier 2 warms you up for what they're about to do in Terrifier 3 that comes out later on this year, which I can't fucking wait to see. Now, to answer the question in the thumbnail of this video, is this movie a work of art or a big giant wet fart? And if you ask me, this movie's a work of art. Of course, like anything else, art is subjective. It depends. Everyone has a different, you know, taste in what they like. For me, this movie's art. It's low budget. I enjoy seeing what people can do with very minimal, like, resources at their hand, but then they make something amazing like this. The gore looks amazing for what, like, money they had, and it's gory as fuck, and I like seeing people die in movies. Is that weird? Maybe, but that's why we're watching these movies. Everyone likes them, so don't think you're better than me because of that. The fuck? So to conclude this video, if I had to give this movie a star rating, I would give it about a 4 out of 5. Maybe a 3.5, but 3.5 to the 4. I'm gonna give it a 4. My final is gonna be a 4 out of 5 stars. That's gonna conclude this video. If you did enjoy, please consider subscribing. It will mean a lot. I love talking about horror movies, and I love interacting with people who love talking about horror movies as well. If you want to hang out with me more, check out my Twitch. I'll put a link to my Twitch channel in the description below, or if I don't do that, it will be in the description of my YouTube channel. Hopefully, if I can get that to work. But thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you all in my next review, which will be Terrifier 2. See ya. That was dumb as